Hello and happy 4th of July. I'm sending out this lecture to both the WGS201 and the WGS300 class to cover some just administrative stuff, to kind of tidy up what has happened in the last week, and to address issues that are more Facebook related than in-class related. So without further ado, I'll just start here with my handy dandy whiteboard. The very top item that I've put on here is the unsubscribe. Is the concept of the unsubscribe. Several of you have asked me about that. So the way that unsubscribe works, if you'll look onto our WGS wall, into either one of the groups, and you see all of those entries that I've placed on that main wall, if you are sick of getting notifications every single time someone comments on a post or likes a post or any of that stuff, if that's driving you crazy getting those little notifications on Facebook, and you would rather just visit our page whenever you feel like it without getting all those notifications, the way to do that is to unsubscribe. And what that does, it doesn't mean that you can't participate in that element. So let's say that you're on the week 1 doc and you just keep getting those notifications that someone else has commented and someone else has commented. If you click unsubscribe, the only thing that's going to change is that those notifications will no longer be sent to you, and you'll actually have to go physically to the wall and then into the doc to see the progress that's been made since the last time you checked in. So that's how the unsubscribe works. It might make your life a lot easier, those of you who are in who use your regular Facebook accounts, because I know that it has to just be almost spamming your wall with all of these updates and people commenting and people liking. So you might just make strategic use of that unsubscribe button so that you're not getting bombarded with how many times people have commented it or liked. And that's up to you, that's your discretion. But if you do unsubscribe to one of those posts, you still have to go back to the main wall and sort of keep up with it on your own. So that's an option for you. It might be helpful, it might just be hurtful. You guys can decide, and you can always resubscribe if you find that you don't like not getting those notifications. The next item that I've already mentioned that I'm just going to make brief mention of here is the like button. I've asked you guys to start liking each one of my video lectures. You don't necessarily have to like the links that I post or the docs or the events, but you're more than welcome to like one another's comments. I'm completely okay with that. Use the like button as often as you want with other people's comments if you've read them and you really appreciate what they say, but you don't want to just write, I really like what you just said. Use the like button. But what I'm really interested in, the only thing I'm really going to pay attention to, is the likes on the video lectures. And the reason I'm doing that is just to sort of adjust our pacing. We probably won't see any benefits from it this semester, but when I teach this class again in the future, if I determine through your liking of my videos that most of you guys are watching them, let's say on Wednesday, and the conversation on the docs board is supposed to end on Thursday, then what I might do next semester is just make that docs discussion at a different time in the week if I'm finding that you guys are all, watching them late in the week or what have you. So it's more for my next class, but I really appreciate you guys sort of participating in this little experiment, and it also helps me keep track with who's up to date and who's making progress with the course. We learned this week that the events postings are a little bit yay, so I appreciate so much you guys working with me and being patient and helping me figure this out. We had lots of students who jumped on board and helped me and helped the rest of the class figure out how to make this work. So you guys found that fix. I cannot tell you how appreciative I am of what a great group of students that I've got this semester. Reading your event posts made me so happy, and I am so energized to see what you guys are going to do with your event posts each week. And you all scouted out this amazing direction all on your own, and I have just learned so much and was so gratified by what you guys did. And so I really, really, really think that it's helpful for all of us to post in the exact same place. So let's see if next week we can't make that events wall work for all of us. My goal next week, for week 2, is for every single one of us to have our events posting in that event wall with that title and then the body underneath. And the way that you work that, if you guys didn't read the wall postings that showed us how to make the events work, whenever you actually copy and paste your essay into the comments section, you have to physically type something into the box. Merely copying and pasting and then pressing enter is not working. So what one student suggested, and what that works really, really well, is for you to copy and paste your entire essay and then delete the last period and then retype that last period. And that is what makes Facebook recognize that there's text inside of that box. When you just copy and paste, for some reason, Facebook doesn't recognize that there's text inside of that text box. But if you physically touch your key on your keyboard while it's inside, of that box, then Facebook suddenly recognizes. So the copy paste function doesn't work perfectly. You actually have to delete something and put it in there. You might copy and paste your whole essay in there and then reread and edit it a little bit, maybe for spelling. Some of you, I mean, not all of you guys are doing a great job, and I understand everything that you say, but you might want to work a little bit on grammar and spelling. I'm not pointing it out. I'm an English teacher. Guilty as charged, but I'm not pointing it out. I just, it might help a little bit with posting these things on the events wall if you guys go back and edit a little bit. That way you're actually physically pushing the key while it's inside of the text box. I hope all that makes sense. Again, I appreciate you guys. I really do, working with me and being so patient. I know this is a new way of learning for some of you. Some of you guys have already emailed me and said this is the best. I am so stoked about being on Facebook and learning through Facebook. Some of you guys have already seen how productive and how dynamic it is and how good it can be, and others of you guys are still a little bit hesitant, and I recognize that, and I recognize the fear, and I recognize the uncomfortableness, but all I can keep saying is push through it, because I hope that by the end of the semester you see that once you kind of adjust your thinking to it, it's a really cool environment to be in. It is, for me, I think it best simulates what actually happens in an in-class environment, because we can see each other's faces, we can see real-time dynamics. Sometimes we, like when 2 or 3 or 4 of us are on there and we start commenting back and forth, it's almost like a chat session. It's almost like a simultaneous or a synchronous class. So that's really cool. I'm hoping to learn a little bit this semester. Maybe next time I teach this class, we can actually use that chat function, and all of us could get in a chat room together. It might be crazy, but we'll see. You guys are really helping me explore new possibilities, and I appreciate you guys being really patient. Thank you so much. As far as the events posting goes, I had so much fun reading what you guys wrote. You are doing a great job. What I did in the events is I commented on every single person's event. So you should go back and read not only the comments that I left for you, but the comments that I left for other people, so that we can all learn together. That's one way that I kind of chart your progress through the course. This week, I was really, really lenient on grades, because every single point in this course matters. So I was really lenient on grades, so much so that if you even participated once in the doc for the week, I gave you 9 out of 10 points. And if you participated more and actually came back and rechecked and responded to people who had asked questions to you, if you really went out of your way and tried to make the conversation into a back and forth rather than just, here's my thought and then head out. If you really engaged, I gave you the full 10 points, and I will do that every week. Every week, if you fully engage and you write what you think, and then maybe come back a day or 2 later and then just respond to anybody who might have said something to you to show me that you're keeping up, you get the 10 points, no problem. If your comments are mostly I agree with so-and-so or I disagree with so-and-so, and you don't really try to dive into the text, I'm going to analyze those things, and then your point value will go down. And then similarly, if you just stop in one time and you give us a little blurb about what you thought about one of the articles, and then you never check back in again, the points are going to go way down for that kind of participation, because it's not really engagement. The thing that would happen in a real class, sorry, I'm having a hard time getting my words together. What would have happened in a real class would be like if you just came in and then I said, what do you guys think about the text? And then you said, here's what I thought about page 15, and then you totally checked out for the next 45 minutes. That's the equivalent of what's happening with some people on our docs discussion, where you just come in one time, you spill out what you think in 200 or 300 words, and then we never hear from you again. So see if you guys can sort of pace yourself and give us a comment, maybe ask an interpretive question, try to get people to critically think, and then a day or 2 later or several hours later or whatever, when you're back on Facebook, check back in and see if someone's commented directly to you, specifically to you, and see if we can make this more of a conversation rather than sort of a drive-by commenting, right? On the events postings, to get back to my little outline here, on the events postings, keep in mind that what you're doing with these events posting is compiling your own set of research notes, basically, okay? I want the essays to be cohesive. I want you to make a point in the essay. I don't just want it to be a long list of strung together facts. Sorry about that. But I do want it to make a point, but you don't have to necessarily write introductions and conclusions. you can actually leave out the introduction and leave out a conclusion altogether and chuck as much data and information as you can inside of your short essays. And the reason that you're doing that is because at the end of the semester, when you start to compile that final research project, what you're going to end up doing is chucking out the introduction and chucking out the conclusion and just focusing on the body of information that you've given yourself, right? So by the end of the semester, it would make better sense for you, and it would be more helpful to you for you not to have these long, windy introductions and these long conclusions, but rather just posts that have like a very short, maybe one sentence intro and a very short, maybe one sentence conclusion, but the rest of it just chocked full with analysis of the text that we've read, analysis of the outside sources, the ways that your sources that you're finding on your own interact and intersect with the text, how they agree, how they disagree, what are the tensions between the two. So you're really looking to bring all of this material, the stuff you're bringing from the outside and the stuff we've already talked about as a class, together and to produce new knowledge. If you find at the end of your event posting that you've just summarized whatever we've already said this week, that's not going to be helpful to you at the when the final project time comes around. What you're going to want to do is do a little bit of summarizing of the stuff that we've read and the articles that you bring from the outside from your independent research, but your main objective is to really synthesize, or to put those, put one and one together and see, does it make two? Does it make three? What are these things saying in relationship to one another? What kind of new knowledge can they produce together? So I made comments on your event postings as such to sort of steer you in those directions. And again, reread my comment that I made on your event posting, and then reread everyone else's comments so that you can really, really start to move yourself and advance yourself ahead in this next week. We don't have a lot of time to work together to advance our research and stuff, so in the time that we have together, I really want to push you guys. So on that note, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about citing your sources and citing credible sources. Even though I don't require you to use MLA or APA or any of those kinds of citation systems, I am interested in what sources that you choose to use. So in the future, for all the rest of the event postings, when you bring in a piece of outside research, or when you cite an article that we didn't read together as a class, just give me some sort of reference, right? You can put it in parentheses and just give me the website, or you can make a references list at the end. And what I'm going to be doing is analyzing your sources to see if they're credible. I want you guys to, you're welcome to use popular sources and free internet sources and websites and stuff like that, but if we can't verify that that they're stating fact, if we can't verify who that author is and how that author has any credibility at all in his or her field, then that information is questionable. We have to put it in question. That's part of critical thinking. So I need to see what sources that you're using so that I can go onto that website or into that document or into that book even, and see for myself if this is a source that I would trust. And if it's not, we can start negotiating why it is that you used that source. Why did you choose that? How is it helping support your argument if we can't trust the information inside of it, right? And then finally, I posted your grades on Blackboard. What I will say briefly in my last couple of minutes about grades is that yes, you have a point assignment, okay? Every single point in this class matters. This class is very cumulative. It's not, the grades aren't weighted. One point doesn't weigh more than another point. Every single point counts. So missing a point on an event wall is exactly like missing a point in a final paper. It's exactly like missing a point in a discussion board or a doc, right? So I know that sounds a little bit intimidating. If you miss 3 or 4 points, or if you miss 10 points, all of a sudden you're no longer looking at the possibility of an A, but you're looking at the highest possibility of a B. But here's what I'm going to say about that, okay? First of all, I do grade on a curve. So nobody's going to get all 300 out of 300 points, because everybody is going to have, weeks where they just couldn't do the work or what have you, and I respect that. And so at the end of the semester, in each individual class, I'll take the highest number of points. Whoever earned that point, that will turn into 100%, and then the rest of you guys will scale down from below that. And another thing that I will say is that you will do just fine in this class if you stick with it. If I watch you every week improve in your research methodology, in your critical thinking skills, in your analysis of each article, if I watch you take my advice into consideration and then work toward improving whatever it is that I called you out on, then you'll be just fine in this course. So you stick to your goals and I'll stick to my goals, and worry less about how many points you're making and worry more about what you're learning. and how much you're getting from this and how much you're investing in it. So I don't have a whole lot of time left. I hope this answers some of the questions that you guys have been asking just about Facebook and the way that it's going to work. Check your grades on Blackboard. Let me know. Add me on Skype, and we can talk about these things in real time. And I'll post other lectures about the material for this week as soon as I possibly can. See you soon.